Very good morning, children. Today we will move to the next lesson, that is different ecosystems. Different ecosystems. So, in the first lesson, you learned about the ecosystem. You learned about Koringa water ecosystem and desert ecosystem in paragraph. So, while reading, you learned in that, after reading, before reading. Is it not? So, now before we start this lesson, have you heard of this word habitat? What do you mean by habitat? Yes. Habitat means the place where the organisms are living. It's not? So the suitable place for the organisms to live is called a habitat. Suitable place I am talking about. Suppose if we get fish and if we make it to live on land, it cannot survive. So for fish, suitable place is said to be water only. For us, suitable place is on land. Is it not, children? So here, what is habitat? So habitat is a place which is said to be suitable for the organisms to live. So that one we call it as a habitat. Then do the habitats same, children? Just now I said fish, it lives in water. We people live on land. Some people, some plants, some animals, they live on trees. Birds live on trees. Is it not? So habitats are not same for all the living organisms. Is it not? So some organisms, they live in the body of other organisms also as parasites. Is it not? So the habitats of organisms are different. They are not same. Is it clear to children? Then, so what we are observing in the habitat? Are you going to observe only one kind of living organism in any habitat? So suppose if you take any pond as an example, or if you go to any park, are you going to observe only one kind of organism? No. So we are going to observe in the habitat different kinds of living organisms. Is it not? Different kinds of living organisms we observe. So for example, if you go to park, you are observing big trees, small trees, bushes you are observing, grass plants you are observing. Is it not? And you are observing grasshoppers, ants, other insects like beetles, butterflies we are observing, and some birds which are of different varieties we are observing. Is it not? So like snakes, then frogs we can observe, lizards we can observe. So different living organisms are seen in a particular habitat. So organisms are also not same which are living in that particular place. Have you followed? Then how do they live in that habitat? So they are going to take help from the other part of this what is that habitat like. So if you see what is that where the living organisms are always rapport or interaction is there with the non-living environment. Is it not, children? So we all depend on non-living environment also. Like we are in need of air, we are in need of water, we are in need of sunlight, soil, etc. Is it not, children? So all these things, they don't have life. Is it not? So the living organisms cannot survive without these components. Is it clear to you? So now here what we are going to understand with this living organisms, wherever they may be living habitat. So that particular habitat, if we see, there will be always two components where they are going to interact with each other continuously for the survival. Is it clear to you? And that place where we observe the interaction of the living organisms with non-living organisms. So that one we call it as a ecosystem. Ecosystem. So what do you mean by ecosystem? So we are observing nature. Is it not, children? Nature you are observing. So do the nature in all places of the world, is it same? So even in our country also, if we are observing, we observe mountains, We observe what is that coniferous forest. We observe deciduous forest. We observe dry lands. We can observe wetlands. We can observe. We can observe other components also, rivers, ponds, lakes. So different things we are observing in the nature. So all these are the components of nature. Is it not, children? So here that nature as a whole to study, okay, and the interaction of living organisms which are living in that nature. So that will be learned, or that is going to be made you to understand in a separate branch of biology, which we call it as ecology. So you learned about this word, children, in the first lesson, branches of biology. So ecology is a branch of biology where you are going to learn about the interaction of living organisms with the non-living things which are present in that particular environment. So that one we call it as ecology. So as a whole to study about the nature, it is very difficult. So that's why that ecology is made into smaller units of nature, which we call as a ecosystem. Is it clear to you? So who used this word ecosystem for the first time? Means here A.J. Tansley used the word ecosystem for the first time in 1935. So in the year 1935, A.J. Tansley made our work easier. Let it divide into smaller units so that the people can understand easily. So one mountain, Himalayan mountains, if we take easily we can understand, because we are learning about that ecosystem. Have you followed? Suppose if you go to any park, so whatever the conditions you are observing in one park, they may not be seen in other park. Is it not, children? So like that smaller units if we made, then it will become easy to study about the particular group of organisms which are living there. So how they interdepend on, depend with one another, or one another, how they are going to live, or how they can survive, all that can be learned. So A.J. Tansley for the first time in 1935 used the word ecosystem, which means that a smaller unit of nature and or the basic unit of nature you can take. And what he said here, nature is works as a system, in which the organisms and the environment, okay, organisms and their communities are profoundly influenced by many other living organisms or many other aspects present in that particular environment. Means what? The rapport will be there between living and non-living components of that particular environment. Is it clear to children? So that one we call it as a ecosystem. Is it clear to children? Everyone understood? Then any ecosystem if we observe, any ecosystem. So just now I gave examples like grassland ecosystem you can take, pond ecosystem you can take, is it not? Or any other ecosystem you can take. So different kinds of organisms we are going to observe, and different conditions we are going to observe, which make the organisms to survive in that environment. Is it clear to children? So like that here. So one activity is also given for your in this lesson. So it may be given for your FAS also, children. This lesson is for FAS. Is it clear to you? So what is that? You go to any park or in your home garden also you can take. So with the help of thread and nails, you keep 4 nails in that grassland and you mark them with the thread, and you observe the number of plants or in any whatever the insects which you are observing, or the organisms which you are observing other than insects, you can find out. For example, ants, how many, what kind of ants they are. Then beetles have you observed, or any frog have you observed, or any other. So we have tried. So where they will come? They come under biotic components. Have you followed? Is it clear to you? And soil, then water, whichever you are providing, and space, whatever it is there, all will come under abiotic components. So like that you can also know, or you can also study about your own ecosystem. So that is you can also observe. So you have to note down how many number of living organisms are found, and what are the other conditions which are seen. All that can be studied by you also. Is it clear to children? Then, so what you are going to learn? So as in this area, a unit area, you are observing different kinds of like I will write insects. Okay, you are observing insects. Then you may see frogs, one or two. Is it not, children? You may see other birds. Birds also we can observe. We can see birds. Have you followed what I said? Sometimes snakes also. So all this, what will happen here? They will come under living organisms. Okay. So insects are there, frogs are there, birds are there. So if you observe here, insects are going to become food for frog. Is it not? And frog is going to become food for some bird. If you observe snakes are going to become food for birds. What is that? What do we call? Means there is some interdependency of organisms in that particular area, in that given area or in that unit area. Unit ante మీరు ఒక్కటే చదువుతున్నారు ఇక్కడ. So you can take any example like what is the Thar desert you can take, or Sahara desert you can take, or Himalayan mountains you can take, or Hussain Sagar water ecosystem you can take. So we are going to observe the interdependency because different kinds of living organisms we are observing there. So all these organisms are going to depend on one another for the survival. Is it clear to children? That is said here. All the organisms live together and interact with each other, one another in that way. What for they are going to interact with each other? Especially energy transfer. Food is energy or not? So here for that food purpose they are going to what is that? They are going to interact or they are going to depend on one another. Is it clear to children? So like that we are going to observe. Understood what I said? Then, so interdependency is there, children, between plants, animals, what for space, for reproduction, for shelter. Suppose if you take a small area, handful of seeds, handful of Bengal gram seeds you have taken. So you are going to sow them in any box or a tumbler, plastic tumbler. You can observe all plants they sprout. So they germinate. So after few days what is going to happen? Very few plants you are observing. So other plants they perish off. Is it not, children? Why? There will be a severe competition among these plants for space or water, whatever it is provided. Is it not, children? Or nutrients. So few plants are surviving, others are not surviving. Means what? Here the organisms are going to share the space, that is shelter we call it as, then reproduction, then space, all these things are shared among the living organisms, different living organisms in that particular ecosystem. Is it clear to children? So what do you mean by that? Any ecosystem if you take, the different kinds of organisms which we are observing, they are going to depend on one on other. Is it clear to you? So that depending nature of the organisms in that particular ecosystem is called as interdependency, or relationship between the biotic components. Okay. So all these biotic components, again they are going to depend on the abiotic components also, no? Space, shelter, then water, whatever it is there, all that will be shared by all organisms whichever are present in that particular ecosystem. So if that is not there, if it is not shared properly, what will happen? The organisms of different varieties which we are observing, one day or other day they are getting perishing off. Is it not, children? So like that here it is going to happen. But what is happening totally? So they are going to depend on one another mainly. That interdependence is going to happen, or that we can observe through energy transfer. That is food. What? Food. That organisms are going to provide. So that you are going to learn now in detail. So any ecosystem, if we observe, what kind of components we are going to observe in a biotic components. So first we learn about components of ecosystem. So components of ecosystem. So these components of ecosystem, if we see, two we are observing. One is said to be biotic components and second one is abiotic components. Abiotic components. So all the abiotic components must be shared by different kinds of biotic components which are present in particular ecosystem. Is it clear, children? So now here biotic components. So what are there? You can observe plants, you can observe animals and other groups, whatever it may be, children. Okay, but here basically the biotic components, in what way we can divide? Okay, do any animal survive without plants, children? Can we survive without plants? No. So for the entire planet Earth, the energy is provided by plants. Is it clear to you? So that's why here the plants are called as producers. The plants are called as producers. Have you followed? All the animal groups. Okay. All the animal groups, directly or indirectly, we are going to depend on plants for our survival, for food. So if they are herbivorous animals, directly like deer, goat, sheep, they depend on plants directly. Have you followed? Suppose lion is there, or tiger is there, or hyena is there, so they are going to eat the flesh of other animals. It's not herbivores. So they are also called as producers. Indirectly they are depending on a plant. Indirectly they are depending on plants. So all plants are called as producers, and all animals which are going to depend directly or indirectly on plants, so we call them as consumers. Consumers. So direct consumers direct consumers are said to be herbivorous animals. Okay? Indirect consumers and which feed on the herbivorous animals, lion, tiger. Indirectly they are depending on plants only, no? If plants are not there, can the herbivorous animal survive? No. If herbivorous animal is not there, how can a carnivorous animal is able to survive? It's not possible. So that's why here consumers are primary consumers and secondary consumers. Then another component also will be there of this biotic component, what it is. So after the death of any living organism, maybe a plant or animal or human body or any bird, what is going to happen after few days? It is getting decomposed. So after a week days or 10 days, we are not going to observe any dead body, which we have seen 1 week back. So that fleshy content is going, whichever is present in the dead bodies, is getting decomposed. So how that decomposing is going to happen? That is because of some kind of bacteria or fungi, whichever are present in the atmosphere, they come in contact with the dead organisms. So these are called as what do we call them? Means decomposers. Decomposers. Is it clear to children? So decomposers are said to be microorganisms. What kind of microorganisms? Bacteria and fungi. They act on dead bodies of plants and animals. Then they get the nourishment, energy. So that's why they are called as decomposers. Now you please tell. So do decomposers depend on plants? Obviously yes one. Do consumers depend on plants? Obviously yes only. So producers, consumers and decomposers or recyclers are the three components which will come under biotic components in a particular ecosystem. Then what are the abiotic components which we observe? Air, soil or space we can take, then temperature, pressure, pressure or chemicals which are present in that particular place. So all these will come under abiotic components. Is it clear to you? Water, land, all these will come under abiotic components. So in any ecosystem if we take, this will be present. Is it not? All these will be present. Have you understood, children? So the components are going to be shared among the biotic components. Have you followed? By producers, by consumers and by decomposers. In what way? That these are going to be interdependent one on one another, that is through food. Is it clear to children? So any particular ecosystem if you are observing, we see three important biotic components. They are said to be producers, consumers and decomposers. So these decomposers are also called as recyclers. Why they are called as recyclers? Why they are called as recyclers? Because they are going to return the nutrients which are present in dead animals or dead plants to the nature. I hope you understood. Is it clear to you? So that's why these decomposers are also called as recyclers. Have you followed, children? So like that here, biotic components will have producers, consumers, decomposers and recyclers. Is it clear to you? Then coming to the next point. So here what is happening there? The energy flow is happening. This point you have to remember. So energy flow, how it is going to happen? Through food. Through food, the energy flow is going to happen. So these organisms, how they are going to, different organisms which are living in particular ecosystem, you can observe it clearly, and how they are interdependent. You can see here, and the first place always is occupied by plants only. Plants are the base for any ecosystem, whether it is water ecosystem or grassland ecosystem or forest ecosystem, whatever it may be, and remaining all are said to be consumers. But consumers again, they are divided into primary consumers, secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. So the number of tertiary consumers, it will be decreasing as we move up in the ecosystem. Is it clear to children? Have you followed what I said? You can observe this picture clearly from your textbook, page number 106. Have you understood? So now any ecosystem if we see, just now I said biotic components are producers, consumers and decomposers are recyclers. Okay, so they are all interdepending on one with other, that is through food. So the interlinking of the organisms in any particular ecosystem through food is called as a food web. Food web. Web means you have seen a spider's web. So just like that, all the organisms are interlinked with each other with the help with the food. So that's why it is called as a food web. So in food web, what is the base? Base always. So the base will be starting with the plants. So here you are observing large number of plants. Okay, and when the plants are going to become food for some of the organisms, like any animals, second level. Is it clear to you? So the second level, what is happening means some animals will be there. They are called as primary consumers, like grasshoppers. Is it clear to you? Or any herbivorous animal. Have you followed? Then primary consumers are going to become food for secondary consumers. Secondary consumers. Okay. And finally, we get the tertiary consumer. Is it clear to you? So, number of tertiary consumers will be less in any ecosystem. Have you followed? Whereas plants will be more in number. What is the reason? Because it is the base. Base. Okay, children. So, directly or indirectly, the organisms have to depend on plants only for the survival. Have you followed, children? So, otherwise it is very difficult for the survival of any living organism, in particular ecosystem. Is it clear to you? Then, whatever that ecosystems which we are observing in our surroundings, they may be here. You can observe change. We observe some change quickly. So how it is happening? Because of tsunamis, powerful tsunamis, or earthquakes, or fire accidents. So they are going to destroy ecosystems very quickly. Every day you will be observing in newspapers, no children. So in Australia or in California, so many forests, they are in threat because of forest fires. Is it not? And you are observing all over the world now floods. So whatever the famous cities which we are observing, they may not be seen. Why? Because of these floods or tsunami. How it brought changes in some parts of our world. Is it not, children? So quickly they are going to change the ecosystem. So what are those which are changing that ecosystems quickly? Maybe tsunamis or forest fires or any earthquakes, storms. Again, there are very different varieties. Sandstorms are there, or snowstorms are there. Is it not? And other floods. So all these are going to change the ecosystems very much quickly. Is it clear to children? Then, so how these ecosystems are getting spoiled? Now comes our turn. What is that? Human interventions. Okay, human activities. Human activities are going to change the natural ecosystems. Which is it correct on our part to change the nature, that naturality of the ecosystem? No, but you can see here what is that? If we observe any hill stations, earlier people used to climb that by just climbing only. Is it not, children? But nowadays we are digging the, we are having the roads also to reach the top of the hills. Is it not hill stations you are observing? So we are changing that, and we are constructing dams. Is it not? And we are constructing so many buildings. So urbanization, deforestation, is it clear to you? Industrialization. So all these are going to become cause for the disappearing of natural ecosystems. Natural ecosystems. Have you followed what I said? But whatever it may be, children, that ecosystem, it is of two types. How many types of ecosystem we can observe? Two types of ecosystem we can see. Ecosystem, which is said to be of two types. One is natural. I write here. First, artificial. Artificial ecosystem and natural ecosystem. So two types are there. One is artificial ecosystem and other one is a natural ecosystem. So artificial ecosystem here what you can get? All man-made. Okay, buildings. Is it clear to you? So sky scrapers we are observing. Is it not, children? Of 104 floors or 150 floors like that. So they all will come under artificial ecosystems. Bridges, metros. So all these flyovers, all these are artificial ecosystems. So natural ecosystem, if we see, which you and me have not made, so it is divided into two categories. So this natural ecosystem is divided into two categories. One is said to be terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial means what? Land. On land. Okay. Terrestrial or land ecosystem. Is it clear to children? So here terrestrial or land ecosystem examples you can take grassland ecosystem, forest ecosystem, even desert ecosystem. Is it not? So many examples are there. So this terrestrial ecosystem is divided into what are they? Grassland, then forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, then next one is a desert ecosystem. Desert ecosystem like that. That's a different natural ecosystems we can observe. Whereas aquatic ecosystem, if we see, it is divided into again two categories. One is said to be freshwater ecosystem, and other one is a marine water ecosystem. So here freshwater ecosystem water, you can observe rivers, ponds, lakes. Have you followed? Rivers like Ganga, or Yamuna, Musi river, Krishna, Godavari rivers which are present in our states. So freshwater ecosystem, it is said to be. Then Gandipet reservoir, it is there, freshwater ecosystem only. Marine water ecosystem means what? All the oceans, seas, all these will come under marine water ecosystem. Is it clear to children? So this flow chart is going to give you idea about different ecosystems. One is said to be artificial ecosystem and other one is natural ecosystem. So artificial ecosystems are man-made. We are going to make them. Okay, earlier they were not there. Is it clear to you? For example, if you say long back people used to live in hut, Ankunda. Okay, so afterwards what is going to happen? That hut is replaced by building, mason. Is it clear to you? So because of that change, so that is made by man. Okay, like metro bridges you can take, flyovers you can take, any dams you can take, buildings you can take, all these will come under artificial ecosystem. So natural ecosystems, it is God's grace, God's gift only. Like it is divided into terrestrial or land ecosystem or aquatic ecosystem into two. So terrestrial ecosystem you can take any grassland or forest ecosystems, different types of forests we are observing. Then deserts, different types of deserts we are observing all over the world. But the conditions which we observe or the animals which we observe in one desert, we are not going to observe in other desert. So all different only. Then aquatic ecosystem, if we see, it is of two types. One is said to be freshwater and other one is a marine water ecosystem. Is it clear to children? So tomorrow we will take an example, that is mangrove ecosystem, Koringa water ecosystem, and what are the biotic components or abiotic components which we observe in that ecosystem. All that we will discuss in tomorrow's class.